Welcome everybody to a lightning round edition of the Dancer Podcast, starring us. How you doing, babe?
Good. How are you?
What the fuck have you just made me do? What?
I did not make you do anything.
Welcome
we
to
were
a
watching Willy Wonka, and I was like, "Oh, Hairspray's on Netflix," and you're like, "What's that?" I'm like,
Welcome,
"It's a
everybody.
musical about the '60s."
Welcome. I can't tell whether that's being fair or not. Welcome everybody to a quick lightning round edition of Hairspray from 2007. Here's what I know. Is I walk past the poster 13 years ago in the mall. I'm like, those just look like people from the 60s. You can't fool me.
Yeah, you know, John Travolta, Christopher Walken.
I did. Holy shit. Holy shit.
There's a lot of people in this movie.
Number one, I had a great time. Thank you very much.
Good, I'm glad. I thought you were going to hate it.
I thought for years, for a baker's dozen of years, people hate this movie for some reason. So I just wanted to feel good. So I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. 91%.
Right on.
This is good. Like it does the best thing that a film version of a play can do, is it makes me want to go watch the original version.
Right.
On stage.
Yeah, and I've seen this on stage. I have not seen the old version. But by the way, we're talking about the 2007 version.
What is the old version that you keep talking about?
So there was a movie Hairspray made earlier. I don't know exactly what year.
I keep seeing 1880 or 19. Jesus. I keep seeing 1988, and I assume that's when the play came out.
Okay, yeah, because that's no. So there's a musical and then a film and then another film, and we're watching the last of that. Funny story about this. My when my dad was dating, he his girlfriend took him to this play.
Your dad would hate
and
this.
The only thing he would talk about was how much he hated it.
This is if Jesus Christ himself designed a movie for your dad to hate.
it's this one, yeah.
It's so fucking charming. And
the best part about watching this with John was to letting him learn how many people were in this movie.
This is literally, I've never felt this way before. It is, I swear to God, like, at the time when I don't know where, somewhere in that flurry of characters coming out of the fucking walls, just learning, I called it, fuck this awesome Russian nesting doll of a movie. There are superstars everywhere.
Oh, look, Johnny, it's Amanda Bynes and Brittany Snow and Michelle Pfeiffer and Christopher Walken
and John Travolta and
John
Nikki
Travolta
Blanton. No,
in
go back
drag.
one. What did you say?
And Christopher Walken.
I got that one.
And John Travolta in
What the
drag as well as in a fat suit.
And I'm like, I paused it like I'm enhancing a video, and I'm like, holy shit!
Because you were just like, oh yeah, it's a random person. I'm like, John, that's John Travolta.
Can you explain the clause? You briefly touched on it while we were watching.
So I don't know this for sure, but I believe that there is a little note inside of the script to this musical that requests that Tracy's mom, Edna Turnblad, be played by a man in drag. Because when I saw it on stage, that was how it was done, and I believe in the 1980s music, in the 1980s movie, it's done that way as well.
I really want to learn about this shit now.
Get off your phone. We're podcasting.
Claws, fuck. Okay, here we go. It's full of things like that. John
freaking lost your mind when
John Travolta fucking does whatever the fuck he wants. 10 times in my brain, I'm like, he's in Pulp Fiction. He did a really good job.
He's in Pulp Fiction. He's in Grease.
How did you pitch any of these roles to them? Honestly, the one role that makes total perfect sense is Queen Latifah. They're like, hey,
yes.
Queen. I don't know if Queen is her first name. I don't know how it works. But
whatever.
Do you want to be in a civil justice movie? Fucking right, I do.
Yes.
All right, great. Put her in the song.
Yeah, that's very.
But
very well.
John
cast.
Travolta, do you want to be? I'm not a John Travolta expert.
No. Do you want to dress in drag, wear a fat suit, and be in Hairspray? And yes, Zac Efron also in this movie. He was doing this in the middle of High School Musical things.
What the fuck? Yes, that High School Musical impacted his it sprung his career up, but he wasn't famous when this happened.
He was not famous when this happened.
He's such a gorgeous man who knows everything. His name is Link. He's a beautiful angel.
Yeah, so to extremely briefly describe the plot, Tracy Turnblad, who is a slightly overweight teenage girl, wants to be on a 1960s dancing show called The Corny Show. And at that same time, they're dealing with race relations in Baltimore in 1962.
Now we'll get back to race relations because the third act threatened to get Crash Juno levels of bad.
And it doesn't.
It
by
doesn't.
the way.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Thank God. Just so we can round out the cast. Amanda Bynes plays. What the fuck?
Show just any random screenshot of her just standing in the background, not knowing what movie she's
Bynes
in. She's so
role.
confused.
What is the character's name? What is the character's
Penny.
Penny. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Pinkerton. Penny Pinkerton.
apart from dating what is apparently not a Wayans brother, you said, like, I don't know when, but you're like, she just looks lost.
She just looks like she has no idea what's going on the whole time. And she gets tied to a bed later, and it's not sexy.
That was weird. That was very, very weird. But why? This is such a not pretty's not the right word, but, before we touch into civil relations, there is, the one thing this movie could have failed on hard is that there's a sense of sarcasm when, like, a musical is happening in reality.
Mm-hmm.
They do it, but it's played for laughs at the beginning. There's a couple of musical beats where, like, she's like, "Hello, Baltimore," and then she'll run a couple steps, turn back to the camera, and go, "Baltimore." That could have been played just for, like, you're not supposed to do that in real life. Well, musicals aren't legitimate.
There is one song in the musical where I Can Hear the Bells, where she is wandering around school talking about her dreamboat of a crush. And that is the only time in the whole musical, and it's very understated. It's nice and subtle. But she walks around singing, and people in the school, like, fucking look at her like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I never thought I would appreciate this. The extra work in this is on point.
Yeah, the extras in this movie are very good. A lot of them are just the kids in the show.
Whether you're dancing or whether you're just supposed to be a normal high schooler.
Yeah.
They're unobtrusive. They fill the space without being distracting.
Right.
Oh my God.
And so I like this movie because unlike, I feel like in today's world, whenever it's whenever shows or movies try to tackle sensitive subject matter, they fucking grab a claymore and beat you in the face with it. It's like, black people deserve to be in society too. They deserve to be on TV. And it's like overstating, like, oh my gosh, body positivity is like the new best crazy thing. This, like, takes very sensitive subject matter, very big issues, and makes a really campy, fun musical out of it.
Side note, we have to watch Crash, which is apparently it's the 2005 Best Picture winner. It's been considered if you thought racism was good, I got some news for you.
Yeah, and just like it's constantly like there's no subtext. It's just like beating you in the face, and this is not that. It's like it deals with sensitive things in a very, very good way, but in a way that, like, it's not like, oh my God, isn't this aren't I so progressive for allowing fat people to be in movies too?
But I think that this movie is better. It's not making a normative claim about how you should feel about fat people and black people in the 60s. By the way, not equating them at all.
No.
It's not attempting to show you, weren't 60s ideologies bigoted? We know they were.
Yeah, like, we're not stupid.
I think black people should vote. Controversial opinion.
I don't know about that.
You're digging in some weird territory. If I have one criticism, and it's not even a criticism, I had no idea this movie delves into civil rights.
Yeah.
I did not know that third act existed.
Because again, I was just kind of random, like, oh hey, let's just watch Hairspray. It's
oh
fun.
Fuck, I love my wife. I guess I can ruin one day.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's kind of girly. You may not like it. And he's just like, oh yeah, whatever. And he's like, I'm fucking watching him over there laughing hysterically.
It's so fucking funny. I have to intentionally and unintentionally, every time that the studio talks about something called Negro Day, my brain goes, that's super racist.
That's not a good word.
When in reality, it's the most progressive thing in the whole fucking movie. And this is like, it. Think about your answer here. I want to know when the play was written, because
I have no idea.
When it came out.
I mean, maybe the movie came first. I don't know.
Because there are some really, like, it feels dark now, but it's like, let me ask you, so that you just to make sure if you want to get this job or not, would you let black people and white people swim together? What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, no, I guess you can't be on our teenage dancing show because you like black people.
What the fuck?
And yet that was actual, like, 60s logic, and you're realizing, like, I know you don't like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Is she
who's the mom?
Okay.
Who plays Velma? Velma.
I'm just
Stone.
used to her playing every character in Pitch Perfect.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
No, the host.
Okay.
The beginning of every Pitch Perfect movie.
Okay, can I finish my story?
You go. Go ahead.
I know you don't like Michelle Pfeiffer because, and I agree. Like as a villain, she needs some work. However, she's a caricature and not meant to be believable. But there's also things that she says and does where you take a step back and you're like, there was people back then who really thought that way. Like it's and the whole like, oh, I don't believe in my daughter, I'm gonna cheat, and I slept when I was younger to get ahead because I'm smarter than everyone. Yeah, that's whatever. But like the blatant in your face caricature things that she does, well, not meant to be exactly believable, do I think add something and make you appreciate exactly the world that this is set in.
And I think that you could take those kind of barbous jabs at it.
Yeah.
And I think that it runs a really nice line between like saying yes, this happened and we want to treat it with respect, but weren't the 60s super racist?
Yeah. And like people and we've said this before, with every economic boom period, people harken back to the last economic boom. So in the 1980s, you have all these movies and plays coming out about the 1960s. And this movie kind of does what Grease does, and isn't it just like, oh, weren't the 60s swell? Remember when you wore your hair like that and smoked in the bathroom?
I think the reason that the poster turned me off to this movie is, by the way, I should have done my research. Holy shit. I was so worried every joke was going to be about the 60s. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so it's not really that. Like, it's not, oh, weren't the 60s so swell? Like, there is that, and there's plenty of that. However, there's also, like, crazy, ultra-conservative Christian mom, and this really, like, the fact that there were a lot of race riots and a lot of issues in Baltimore in this time period. Now, they're not, like, showing people getting beaten to death on screen, but they are dealing with it, and it's neat to see that discussed.
Yeah.
In a movie that could have been easily just about the 60s, and that's all it had to do.
I wanted to say this about Children of Men, which we did not cover for the show. Would you consider this heavy-handed?
No. Because again, I feel like, I mean, it's blunt. I will say it is blunt. I don't think it's heavy-handed. It's not trying to like, gotcha, this was actually about race the whole time,
Holy
not
shit.
fat people.
No, thank you. I'm actually really excited that they stepped away from the fat acceptance.
Yeah, and it was just kind of there, like but it's not like beating you in the head with it. So I would not call this heavy-handed.
I think that go ahead.
I mean, I would call it clear and blunt and black and white.
Haha. No, I'm sorry. It's so weird. I don't know what else to say. When we spin out, we'll be done. It's been 13 minutes. It's so weird watching this and knowing the time period it takes place and knowing that race relations are going on right now and seeing a TV show full of white people and not knowing who's going to be a bad guy. Like Brittany Snow and her mom, Michelle Pfeiffer, obviously.
Yes.
But Corny, is he implied?
Yeah, so you don't really know how to deal with Corny, who is the host of this teenage dancing TV show. He's played by the guy who plays Cyclops in X-Men, which I didn't know, which is why I'm like, oh, he's really pretty. Why is he really pretty?
My mom, Jesus, I'm sorry. My wife had the thing called the tickle where you're like, where are you from?
It was like, oh, you're so pretty. Why do I like, oh, there we go.
How do we solve race relations? Shoot lasers out of your eyes.
Yeah, and like it would be so stupidly easy to make Corny Collins or the Ultra Clutch Hairspray guy, discount John Goodman, you called him. It'd be so easy to make them the bad guy, and they don't.
Yeah, I think the show could have had, in some respects, it has a systematic bad guy. So you don't need an army of Michelle Pfeiffers and Brittany Snows.
Right, yeah. She's a stand-in for everything that is wrong with what's going on.
Which is fine.
So.
Do you have anything else to say?
I can't believe you sat there the whole thing.
I can't believe I really like that.
Oh my god, every time Christopher Walken is on screen, just, oh my god.
He's such a beautiful... There's a time where, like, somebody is in his joke shop wearing a mask. Like, what is Christopher Walken doing? Whatever the fuck he pleases.
Whatever the fuck he wants. He can run a joke shop and bang John Travolta if he wants to.
Why did I get emotional at a love song between Christopher Walken and John Travolta? Why?
Like, every now and then during that song, you kind of sit back and like, what am I watching?
Every time you show me a movie I was ready to hate, I leave kind of insulted.
I was like, that was supposed to be bad.
Fuck this good movie. I won't say great movie. It's got some issues. But maybe give Amanda Bynes more direction.